Say I'm on. Hi, good afternoon. And Hannah, say hello as well. Can I give you Hannah for a minute? So yeah, last night, what was it? Last night about 8 o'clock, I freaked out because it's like 100% rain here. I'll leave it on. 100% rain in Montclair, and we've been in the greenhouse where it's pitch black, and the rain is so, that drop is so loud that we couldn't even hear ourselves. So I panicked, try to text Jeff and bring microphones and all that good stuff. So I think we might have a break. I'll probably just pour after Norman finish. Hello, this is our episode 31. We have Mr. Roger, the cameraman, Jeff, the director, Brian, our everything, our little bro, our little helper.
Brian is behind the scenes prep. He gets all the plants prepped.
Yes, but we did focus. Norman's teaching them how to do toothpick sex. We're breeding, teaching them how to breed. You having fun with that? Yes, okay, good. So you wouldn't have a lot of new babies coming up. But you won't be responsible for it. Don't worry. Anyway, so welcome to Norman's Orchids, our podcast, Norman's VIP podcast. Today, I think we're doing Q&A.
Q&A.
And then if you have friends that's not in the U.S. that you like to share this with, just go on YouTube and like us under Norman's Orchids, okay? What's your Q&A question? Or does anybody
First
pop
question.
up too?
Okay, the first question is from LC Spencer, and he wants to know, do you have a dream orchid that you want? One that's out there that you don't already have. What are you pining to get?
I don't pine for anything until I see it. You could dream about something, but if they don't know how to grow it well, I'm obviously not going to take it. It also depends on what I'm into. I see a lot of orchids, so it's very hard. I'm not giving you an answer because I just love everything, especially now I'm doing jumpers. There's just so many hybrids that I'm not aware of, because you got to understand I was in the wholesale industry with design for 28 years, so I kind of fell out this hybrid, hybrid crosses thing. So right now with the pandemic, when I started this group, and then I fell in love with orchids again. So I'm still growing, but I'm in love with a lot of new hybrids I've been sharing with you guys in the jumpers. Does that answer? I didn't really answer your questions because there's too many. And plus, I haven't
what's
been
one
out.
that you really want? What's one that you don't have right now? Maybe even something here in the nursery that you want to take home for your own collection that you don't have.
They're all there. I take them every day. We just found 2 today, remember?
I know.
So there's no such thing that I can't have in this nursery. So obviously right now we all love dragonfly, the young and blue dragonfly. So I have 3. Mm-hmm. So I'm sharing with the members.
That's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites.
But
now
you already have it.
I have 3.
You have it.
So every time I go back there, there's always that one. That's how I end up with 3. There's always that one I don't have. The little here, can you show me those plants? And then also borrow Chase's plant too. Is right next to the Cattleya. I'll show the difference since we're
this one.
Right by the cat. That's it. That's Chase. I just sold this to Chase. Special sold this to Chase. Chase is our founding member and Phil fanatic, so he's one of my favorite. Sorry, founding members.
Now I have hurt feelings. Thanks, Jamie.
One of my favorites. Did understand that word? Here, Roger. Here's your daughter. Okay, so what's amazing about here? Well, here's the thing about we could discuss anything before we get too involved with technical stuff that maybe I shouldn't even talk about. After all, I'm a business major. The NF number, which is the ceiling, which is 2 parentage, so you never know what your sibling's going to look like. So this is why we have this variations. I don't know if you need to focus on anything, Roger. So what would you say is your best favorite color? I don't know. I like them all, so therefore I have 3. I like the color in this. I love the purple lip in this. Chase likes the bar in this, but where Chase lives in Colorado, this is going to get more bluer. Like Joel had one in pink, but he went toward bluish in about 3 weeks, I think. But then I love this color. because this actually has a little bit of brown in it. So this is the beauty of the NF number, the ceiling, so we could go across and find the best one and then clone it to mass produce it for everybody. So my favorite now obviously is the dragonfly, because we now started a dragonfly club, because there's just a lot of variation. So which one is my favorite out of these three? I don't know. I love them all. I love this for the lip. I love this for the bar. I love this for the brown. Okay? And that touch on the NF numbers. Since I'm on the NF numbers, here you go, Roger, take this. Sorry, guys. Can I have that tray? Since I'm on the NF number, I just want to show a little variation. This one. And people ask me how I pick jumpers. And this is why I fell in love with the orchids again. See, these two are the same cross. Jennifer and Knobby Green Fingers, okay? So these are the same cross. See the big difference? The shape on this one's perfect, better, but then, you know, for normal people, they like, wow, 4-spike, the flower's way bigger. But the thing is, you never know what you're gonna get. So why is Jimmy's jumper a little bit more expensive? Because I go through the root system, I pick the shape for you, or you could buy 5 of these and you never know what you're gonna come up with. You might get lucky, get a good shape, or a big flower that you wanted. So that's the beauty of, or if you just like surprises, just like flowers, it's no big deal. People ask. So these are going into my jumper. So see, the root system's great. The plants are super healthy. The shapes are good. The colors are great. The patterns are great. Yet this one is for people that loves a lot of flower spikes. The colors are great. But I kind of like the new, as a judge would probably say this, muted, it's faded color. But I think these are the new norm for me as a housewife or whatever. If you're not into judging, whatever, but I don't think, you know, every judge know what they're talking about. But I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. See the lip? It's a little bit fuzzy, the little lavender fuzzy thing. I love that. You see that? Right? So again, so the NF numbers give you a lot of surprises. It's easier for us because we're blooming 100 plants, and I can pick out, you know, 2 or 3 or 5 of the best ones for you guys on the jumpers. And then here you are. Here's another same cross. I think this is indigo. See the difference in color? See it? And you got a dark, you got a light color. So these are the beauty of the NF color. But doesn't mean, usually we go after the dark color, but if you like pastel, go with the light blue. So anyways.
Okay.
Okay.
Eileen would like to know
Anna, stop it.
where you get your pots for your office.
It's
And where can people go to buy?
It's very hard
unique
because
pots like those?
it's very hard. I'm an interior designer, and we do gift shows. So the pots I have at the showroom is all from. I go to gift show twice a year in Texas. That's where we order our pots. So, but I don't think you can find them, you know, at a store or anywhere, because we seek out the most unusual stuff. You know, typical, you know, I don't know. You could just order online on wherever pottery shop you have. But our stuff is always seek out the most unique color, shape.
Okay. Mary would like to know, do you have any tips for integrating orchids into holiday decorations without risking shock to the orchids?
Well, I don't know about decoration or arrangements. I just don't know how to do any of that stuff. Good question, girl. Well, you saw we did the Halloween arrangement. Was it last week already? Just last week. The best thing to learn is the florists don't know what they're doing. I mean, not all florists. Majority of the florists. They like to rip it apart and take it out of the container and shove it in because it's easier. And they would put like ivy or maidenhair and all that stuff. So rule number 1 is always leave your plants in the container itself, and just like what you see me do is pot to pot, so they're all still in their own container. We're not disturbing anything. Number 2 is never put anything in different watering. because you don't know how to water. Eventually, one or the other is going to suffer. You're not going to realize the ivy. I'm going to water 2 or 3 times a week, and then you can. I'm pretty sure you're going to dabble into the orchids once you start watering ivy. So that's going to control the shock aspect of it. Okay, and also try to put everything that is going to last the same. Try not to put a Calais with a Phalaenopsis. A Calais lasts 2 weeks to a month, versus Phalaenopsis lasts 2 months. So part of your arrangement is going to look shabby already. So they're not going to die around the same time.
Okay. Carrie has a good question. She wants to know how long orchids have been part of your family's life, and have you always wanted to be involved in orchids some way, or was there something else that you wanted to do?
Good question. Orchids has always been in our lives. Even back in Asia, we came to the States in 1977. So I was about 9. Back in the States, my godfather is a government official. So at that time, Roger, at that time, he grew Phalaenopsis and Calais, mainly Calais. So he was obviously a government official. So he was in a really gorgeous Japanese compound. So he had a pool. So instead of a pool, he did a greenhouse structure over the pool. And these 2x4s is what we walked on. So as a kid, we bounced on them. But you go in there, is Calais hanging, everything, all the orchids are hanging. So he waters, and underneath there's kois. So Norman fell in love with that. So he started growing Calais with my godfather. That's when we started. So it's pretty much all my life I've been into orchids.
Have you ever wanted to do something else? You ever thought about a different career, or has it always been orchids?
No, I was never into that much orchids. That's Norman's passion. And I think that's not Eric's choice either. We kind of just fell into it, fell in love with it. I'm a business major. My main focus before, I wanted to be international business. I wanted to go to school for international, but I just took business BA. So, and I like to travel, and I got a wicked business mind, and I fell into orchids and fell in love. I graduated from UC Riverside, and business is business. You could take orchids, I could take clothing, I could take anything. It's just business. So obviously, like everybody, we get the orchid bug. So now Eric and myself are this greenhouse. Norman, myself, and Eric, we all have a table somewhere. So we all have our collection. So Norman's collection is bigger than them all. He got the number 16. He's got the Pav house.
He has greenhouses instead of a table.
Yeah.
You guys have a table, and he has greenhouses.
So
you're the one who's going to all take all his orchids.
Well, because I go to his bench, because when we hold plants when we want to miraclone a batch, we actually had to watch it for 2 or 3 years to make sure it's stable. Every year is going to have the flower count, the color, if we don't kill it by then. So we don't just leave one plant. We would always have a dozen or 20 if we're going to mass produce it to 10,000 plants or whatsoever. So in his bench, can you imagine a lot of plant multiple of 6 to 12? He doesn't need that many, right?
Catherine would like to know, do you have any special tips for growing indoor orchids, humidity, lights, etc.?
Well, you guys see my office, so it's as housewife as you could get. Just like everybody, it's hard to say, hey, it's easy because you're in a beautiful greenhouse. For us, it's challenging, even for Roger in the office at the hospital. Humidity is hard. I bought a humidifier from Amazon. I could share it again. It's a cute little one. It's got a little potpourri in the back. I could put my peppermint. That's good for moisture. For air movement, it's very important. I have a big sliding window, but on top of that, I have a fan that moves the lights, the air movement around, because I was starting to get millibug because it's just too hot, and I was packing so many plants on the shelf. And I do use LED light from Jeff, because without that, I cannot have my shelf growing all the time, because just nowhere I could get any light out of it. On top of that, today, this morning at 7 o'clock, I called Jeff, bugged the hell out of Jeff. I said, I don't know if we're going to have light in the greenhouse. So, Roger, can you point it up? We did, is this 48? I had described where I need lights, and Jeff does the magic for me. Here's the 48-inch lights.
Is it ready?
I'm on. So Jeff came in, put lights on. Right now we're fortunate we have light in here, but that changes since we've been here for 2 hours. It goes from dark to light. So that's what you could do at home for the winter, is make sure you have enough light. Humidity is a big issue. So I also put a lot of water feature in my house, so that helps. If you don't have room for a plug or whatever, put a crystal bowl and put water. That helps as well. I have a workstation over there where I do the jumper. So Jeff did a 24-inch light for me. So key thing is growing at home is Jeff lights. I swear by it. Don't buy anything else. Jeff light. I even have them in the shed now. We just did electricity in the shed so I could go pack my Christmas presents in the shed. So I have a 36-inch light in the shed and 2 24s. So lights, number one, humidity. So you could get a humidifier. If not, water feature. I like sounds of water. And number 3 is air movement. So with the heater going on, you still want to move the air. That's the most important, moving the air.
Yeah, light is important.
Light is so important.
It kind of makes the plants.
I was asking a dumb question because Jeff, can I leave it on 24 hours because I want a flower? And Jeff's like, come on, the plant's got to sleep. So I ask stupid questions myself.
James would like to know, what are your favorite, best smelling, fragrant orchids?
Right now, obviously, I'm into Phals, so the indigos, crosses or indigos are so fragrant. It's amazing, and I love the color. These blues, obviously these, the knobby green fingers, Bellinas, and obviously the big Bellinas if I have one around. These are super fragrant, and I think Roger likes these, right? You have this blooming at the office, and then we have these at home, Valentinis and stuff like that. These are my favorite blooming stuff. Oh wait, fragrant stuff. The Modesta. James has one. He begged. I gave him one. This is the only plant I ever seen the Fangs, all the Fangs, and Julie got all excited at the same time. Usually they're like, yeah, it's all right. But this one we all love. I think a few of you guys already have one. It smells like those fruit rows from back in the days. Well, I'm not even that old, but you know that they had it in a plastic and it's a fruit row.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
But you guys
the
know what I'm.
roll-ups?
Yeah, the roll-up fruit thing. Yeah. And this smells like the grapes. The flowers is cute and dainty, but it's amazing. I think whoever has it, like Shearberry, you have it. I think Laurie has it. You guys could shine out. This is the most fragrant. For this little thing, it could smell at my office. Anyway, next question.
Yeah. Sony has a multi-part question. Is it better to use a little piece of wire to secure a flower spike to the bamboo stake, or use one of the plastic clips? Or does it just depend on the situation?
At the nursery, obviously, time and labor is what we're lack of. We have them on clip, but we're very careful. It's like I said, clips could hide mealybugs and bugs. So as we spike them, we're in a hurry. We just put, because we don't want like a big standard white, they're gonna fall. So we just go around and put a stick or a bamboo and clip it. But before I even take my jumper home, I take all the clips off and I change it to my little wire because I think those are better. I don't want, and plus it's ugly. I don't like to see clips. I wanted to enjoy the beauty. I think the clips take so much away from the flowers. So Sunny, for commercial people like us that don't have time, but for you guys, you should not use clips because bug problem and visibility, I don't think it's very attractive.
The Dorothy has a question. When an orchid loses all its roots, but the plant is still viable, what is the best way to transplant?
The best way, well, you obviously already took it out of the pot to know there's no roots. So the best way is to do what Norman showed before. It's bare root everything. and do the Mega Thrive to induce root system and hang it. Because you don't want to pot it right away because you have nothing to sustain. You might rot it out. So just Mega Thrive it to produce root system, hang it dry. I have one at home. I was experimenting because everybody talked about water culture. So I have one that has one little dingy roots on the field that's hanging. So I did water culture. It's been 3 months, so I have one little root system. So I think I probably would have been better just to hang dry it. I don't understand water culture. Maybe I have no patience, but I've seen a lot of people do really well blooming on Oncidiums, Cattleyas. I'm impressed. But water culture is not my thing. And I think I want to, if that happened, just to experiment. If it's at the nursery, it's in the trash. I'm going to try just hang it and produce it with, Mega Thrive what we do at home.
And we have a question from Ruben. It says, winter care tips. It's getting cold in Los Angeles.
Hi, Curtis. Hello. My coffee delivery. Curtis, you have a question? You're live. Winter. I see people starting doing mats, but it depends on where you are. I'm not sure. Lou Ruben, this is LA. Is it Louisiana?
LA, yeah. Yes.
Is it Louisiana or LA?
LA. Oh, wait. Oh, I don't know. Louisiana.
Curtis brought me coffee.
Yes.
You want to sit down? You can sit over.
I will.
You have a question?
I have to pass out more.
It's Q&A question time. Do you have a question?
How do I not get fungus on my crown rot? That's what I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah, you had a crown rot, right?
I actually have it. I brought it with me. I used the Phytan on it, and then I put cinnamon on it, hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, that's a Norman thing.
Okay, trying.
But I don't know. I don't have crown rot. I think watering problem.
Yeah, I think I'm getting water in the crown. That's all I can think of.
Curtis just have a crown rotting problem. So that's a good question that could tie in with winter. In the winter time at the nursery, we don't water till past. Thanks, Curtis. Curtis is Starbucks Santa today. He's passing those Starbucks to everybody here. Thank you, Curtis. So when the winter time at the nursery, if we turn on the water, it's usually icy cold at 8 o'clock in the morning. We do not water because if you water, the plant will show it having a cold, meaning they'll have spots on it. So we don't water till maybe noon, 12 o'clock or past 12. We'll turn on the water again. We don't want to use ice water, so try to avoid. At home we could do lukewarm water. That's something that we don't have at the nursery. We just turn on the hose and go. So winter, be careful about your watering. Make sure it's lukewarm, not icy cold. Your plant could catch a cold, just like humans. And then if your heater is on, like I said, humidifier has to be important. Otherwise, you're going to dry out your buds. I've seen people are doing heat mat. I don't understand it because we're California, so we don't do heat pad. That's another Norman question. Business major
Brian
here.
did it.
Huh?
Brian has it.
Well, Brian, I don't
He's
know what.
experimenting, growing
Brian's
different,
just
different things.
experimenting, and we're
Yeah.
trying to figure out things and help if we could help people from that's not in California. But we do have bottom heating, if that kind of is the same. Air, yeah. We have both. So, any more questions?
How did you meet Roger?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that was a question. How did you meet Roger?
It's okay. It's more personal. No, Normal doesn't know. He does not have to know.
Do you want to share it? It's okay. How did we meet? How did two really busy people meet? Roger is obviously a physician. He doesn't have a lot of time. And I'm a business and nonprofit gal. Oh, Norman's like, forget it. That was a real question?
No, I'm pulling your leg.
You're pulling my leg? Well, anyway, Roger and I met on eHarmony.
Really?
On the website.
Are you getting paid for eHarmony?
But that's it. And
She's a paid spokeswoman for eHarmony.
actually,
now.
the VP at that time of eHarmony was actually in my building, so he wanted to use me and Roger as a poster child. I'm like, no, thank you. That's where I draw the line. So we met online. 3 months later, Roger wants to get married. I thought he was crazy.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
And then Roger's the second Asian man I ever dated. So the rest is history. 10 years later, we're still here.
Okay.
this one.
Is that all the question?
Huge pot.
That's all the
So
question.
people to pot down. Okay.
Yeah, that's a huge pot.
Yes.
Yeah,
For
that's a huge
demonstration
pot.
at the end of what not to do.
Curtis has got demo, but no bugs, probably.
No bugs.
No bugs. Yeah. Anybody who bring plants in, stop bringing me bugs. Sorry, Andrew. Andrew promised he's not going to bring any more bugs in.
Andrew's not online.
Oh, good.
It's
Thank God.
Phalaenopsis.
Oh. All right, guys. No more question, right? Thank you for all the easy questions. We're good to go. Hey, Norman, can I have this for my jumper? Look how pretty this is.
Nice.
Nice, huh? Norman, can I take this for my jumper?
Sure.
Okay. All right, guys.
Ask me for permission now.
I had
Ooh,
to
it's on tape now.
semi try to pretend I asked for permission. See, this is why I come at 8 o'clock now when Norman doesn't come out
She
till
ambushed
10.
me.
And then I go to all the greenhouses I'm not supposed to, so he says. All right, guys, thank you. Is this mine?
Huh?
Spike is off.
Okay.
Thank you so
What?
much for your coffee. I'm gonna
Thank you, Curtis, for bringing my coffee and on a very nice day. How you guys doing today? Everybody have a good time? No, today's topic is actually one of my favorite. I know you probably say, "Oh yeah, just another." Oh, they say I had to introduce myself. Okay, I know we have a lot of new members. My name is Norman Fang, and I started the business back in 1986. I started with Norman's Orchid, and so here we are. This is episode what, 80, 31?
31.
Oh my God! It seems like yesterday. We started last week. I thought today is Saturday already. So today's topic is on the standard Phalaenopsis. So the definition for standard Phalaenopsis is not typical by the leaf size anymore, because you can have a novelty Phalaenopsis with a big leaf. The typical is a lot of breeding, so they're getting kind of borderline-ish. So, but the definition of standard Phalaenopsis, usually they all have the species. They all started with a species from Philippines of Amabilis. Actually most of all your standard white. Remember this white here? Okay. Most of the standard Phalaenopsis is actually developed primarily in California, and remember, some of you might remember. Remember the Standard Oil in California, which has become Exxon later. Standard Oil, actually one of the key person in the Standard Oil actually owns a company called the Strovos Orchid Company, and they actually the ones starting to develop the big white for bouquet. Remember, the business of orchid in America is always started with as a cut flower commercially. So you have in the 40 and 50, you had the cardiac corsages, okay? And then you had the cymbidium. And then right about 50 years ago, this is developed, like I said before, development of the Phalaenopsis is actually a pretty short period in the last 40, 50 years. Okay, it started with a species like this, Aphrodite, okay? And so what happened and this is actually, so the breeder in California, and they started, obviously the species being the diploid, they are flower too small, they don't last as well, but everybody want big size. Everybody always compare with the Cattleya for corsages. So they keep breeding, selfing, so eventually they got some tetraploid. They keep line breeding for the size, okay? And remember, the trouble with the cut flower breeding is all they care is about the size of flower. They don't care about the leaf. So that's how they develop into the big 4 inches, right about in the late 60, early 70. So this is how the definition for the standard, I would still say the big flower type. I was minimum for the standard is about 3 inches in size. In the old days, but now in the modern breeding for the hybrid, for standard, we try to avoid any of the species we allow to the Aphrodites, grandiflora type. Grandiflora type is the one that gives you the big flower. But they tend to be more flower system is a little bit weaker. The definition, and if you have a chance to see most of the grandiflora type you will ever see probably in the botanic garden. Most of the commercial grow, we don't tend to breed that type because the leaf is too big. And so we more focus on some of the more compact, and this is one of them is, I've been breeding this for about 30 years. This is actually native from Taiwan, okay, from an area south of Taiwan, southern island called Da'u. And this is mature size, and the leaf is only this small compared to some of the leaf. And the nice about, so generally, for example, the Aphrodite from Taiwan, they will be more hardier than the one from Philippines, from the grandiflora type. And so this is how we started with this. Most of the the standard type always have a very big leaf, shiny leaf, except the pink flower. All your standard pink Phalaenopsis is actually developed from the species called Shuriana. And again, this is from Philippines. So this is the few species that have variegated leaf. Most of the standard type are solid green leaf. And yeah, this is the flower of Shuriana. So if you edit, every time you see a pink Phalaenopsis, whether it's big or small, they all have this in the species background, okay? So, all right. So I want to show you how many of you, the only more difficult is the more challenge is the standard Phalaenopsis for under light, unless you have different section that have powder. Okay, so standard Phalaenopsis is unless you gotta have a total section for the height. This is what some of the example I'm going to show you is. I saw one flower. Okay, right here. Okay. This is perfect example of, okay, a lot of standard flower that you have right now, for example, of the Harlequin. Okay, Harlequin, remember, I have one session on Phalaenopsis gigantea. Remember the session, gigantea? The gigantea is the one that breed all the Harlequin. So the tenure used to be more earlier, okay, versus most of your standard Phalaenopsis probably still spiking right now. If you have the big flower Phalaenopsis, white, pink, candy stripe, brush, whatever, if you have a difficulty to flower them in a house, okay, do me a favor. Right now is a perfect time. Just take it outside, because night temperature, as long as your night temperature above 55, and like in California right now, it's actually starts getting to the end of the fall and early winter now. Take it outside for 2 weeks. Okay, mark your calendar, and remember to take it in. That drop of night temperature is enough to stimulate the flower spike. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Like this one here was spiking in the middle of summer when we had 100 degree, 95 degree. Okay, in August, September. So it was so hot. The flower spike sort of stunk. So what I did is I just pinched the flower spike, almost like from here, it's just pinching back. That would reduce the apical dominant. So what happened with the upper when I pinch it right here? Okay, it still managed to give you one flower. Okay, look at it. But then it release the apical dominant, and then give you the 2 branching spike. This is the same thing, same theory. When your standard Phalaenopsis finish in the springtime, you can pinch them back. By pinching back the spike, this actually reduce the uppercut dominant. Only Phalaenopsis can do that. You cannot do that with Cymbidium. You cannot do that with Cattleya. Because the AD orchid is different, and this has been a monocot. Okay, so the uppercut dominant is very strong on Phalaenopsis. So this is by pinching. Okay, if I did not pinch them back, I'm gonna end up with just 1 or 2 flower, or maybe 4 flower. Okay, big deal. But by pinching back, because you can do that if you're in Florida. You know, if you do have some Phalaenopsis, the standard type. For some reason, they spike up. Hey, it's 2020, and it is possible. We have a lot of orchid that's flower in the off season. But if you know this is the standard type, it's gonna flower in the middle of summer. It's not gonna give you the flower count. So you can actually pinch back, and then reduce the uppercut dominant, and then you get up to this branching, which flower at later and cooler temperature. Okay, so this is what you do on the standard type. Okay, now here's another example. I'm gonna use this as an example. Okay, when I see something like this, what should I do? For me, this is really bothers me because I'm not saying you have to do this. But for me, like for example, we're shipping a lot of orchid. Okay, this is going to be like this. Okay, if this is in flower, when we ship it in the orchid in the box like this, it's going to crush the flower from here. So what I would do is, you don't even need to just pinch off. Okay, but look at this one here. It still have a branching here. See here? Okay, I can either, so I would leave this one here. Okay, and not only that, you see here, there's a skin, there's a false a skin here, a false skin here. See, I would take this out. Okay, you only do that when the plant are very immature, very young. Okay, when I take this out, this branching, if I don't take it out, this branching will be like this, 45 degrees. Okay, but at home, once I remove this, it's very easy to remove. You don't even use the any razor blade. Okay, this branching will be 45 degrees coming up. Okay, so that's how you get that what I call bonsai effect coming up. So by removing this tool here, more energy will be come up from here. So I'm gonna get more flower from the tips, and may give you more branching. Okay. Now, if you are going on the light, there's a trick. You still can do standard type Phalaenopsis. You can cut here, so they're not gonna get too tall. Then you're gonna have not just this one is branching here. You got one more here, one more here. Then you're gonna have, you see here, it's gonna be like a tree, 1, 2, and 3 because you remove this. In fact, I might just want to do that just for fun of it. Okay, so now we remove the uppercut dominant. I'm gonna leave this on here. You can see. Now we're gonna have 1, 2, and 3. So then you're gonna have a Phalaenopsis. It's perfect for under light, or for something that if you don't have a lot of your I know Curtis been putting light unit in his extra house, his closet, so the height may be an issue. So cut it here, then you can have a big flower. So you can do a lot of stuff because as long as you're not doing for AOS, American Orchid Society judging, because that flower spike manipulation is not allowed. But horticulture is okay. For ribbon judging, it's okay. Hey, it's your plant. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay. And now there are some plant. Okay, this is the same chrome. I'm gonna leave this here. And even they are chrome, you notice that here, some of them did not have the development of this lower spike. And this one here, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay. And there are some plant genetically standard. the breeding for Standard Phalaenopsis now, and this is what the difference between when you a very good feeding with combination of my fertilizer and Mega Dry. You see here, they release the potential of the branching. See here, the spike is so strong, good light, and all these branching. Okay, it's and we also did the Epsom Salt. Remember Epsom Salt last month, and Epsom Salt is very responsible. Potassium sulfate. You cannot put that in the fertilizer because it will become cake. It's not dissolvable. So you usually just use Epsom Salt as a item by itself, just once a year. Okay, that's what Epsom Salt does. It helps make a lot of chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is responsible for the photosynthesis. And remember, I post a bio pathway. Any of the photosynthesis, it's gonna give you more sucrose. Once you have more sucrose in the plant, it's gonna give you a pathway to more natural plant hormone. And the Mega Dry is gonna help to trigger production of more natural plant hormone. We're not forcing them to do something they don't want. We're just encouraging internally. So that's why you get with a healthy fertilizer. Look at the branching here. Heavy branching. Okay, and then for this one here, I'm gonna. It bothers me. I'm not for judging. This one may be too crowded. Okay, what I should have done earlier is when they were younger, I should have break the spike. And then so this will be developed like this. Okay, so now this is too hard now, so we try to bend it, it broke. Okay, so you always want to do really tender. Okay, but if you have Jamie's wire, you can do a wire here. You can do a twist here.
Right here.
Wire. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's too late now, but I don't. So this is going to be bent into the. So the Jamie's. If you have Jamie's wire, see, I just break it again.
So you didn't know how to do it, see?
No. It's too hot in here. It's hot.
Tell Norman don't spike around here. Norman,
So-
how do you do it?
I think that Jamie does a better job in doing this. Yeah, Norman says no.
You can do. You can see who to do all the talking around here.
Keep talking. Keep talking. Yeah. Okay, so you still have extra one here. So what I usually do is just bend it here, and then make a hook, and that way will be spaced. And I would personally remove this one. So I break two. But now.
What did Mom used to say when she was alive? When we break a flower, it's like, oh, no lunch for
Okay,
you.
now you're gonna have more energy. So what I'm compensating is more flower spike. Instead of branching like this, I'm gonna have this whole flower on this. Okay, so
This is another one. A lot of spikes broken.
lots of spikes broken. Okay, this is another example of with tip branching. Okay, the tip was accidentally broken. So if that happened, do not cut the spike off. You still have two branching, and look at it. With a good fertilizer, Mega Dry, not only have two branching, it also generically have branching here too. Okay, and because this variety genetically is thinner spike, so you can tell we have Jamie's wire here. You see the forest wire supported. We always at home, you probably don't need it, but we always do this because sometimes when we ship it, this is how when they're in the box, no matter how FedEx or UPS store boxes, the plant is secure. A lot of the time, even when customer pick up orchid here, with so many flowers, it's heavy. With a bounce it in the car, they break too, not just in the box. So having this. So this is I love this forest wire. My mom kind of invented the first one to use this back in the 70s. But back in the 1982 when I was in Cal Poly, he said, you can do this. And because I like this because it's not that some of the wire, the heavy metal wire, the one thing about orchid my mind is very particular is when you see if you want to do support on the flower spike, the first thing you see should be the flowers, not that ugly metal wire. Okay. So this is this wire, the forest wire, is blend in with this flower spike. Okay. So the trend with the standard Phalaenopsis now, for me anyway, even though this is it's all about the leaf, the presentation. So this is this is my own creation. It's Julie's Valentine. Julie is my aunt. She's the one that grew all the Phalaenopsis. So and crossed with a pink one called Happy Valentine. But when I did this in 1990, was designed for potted plant, because at that time people want to have a lot of flower, a big bang in a compact leaf. So this is our chrome, and I think we'll be showing the show and tell later. Look how pretty. You know, the Phalaenopsis leaf can be ornamental now. And this is what I call ideal 45-degree shape. Okay.
So
how are we doing so far?
Courtney has a question.
Sure.
She'd like to know if the temp gets below 55, should they bring them in?
Yes. Well, they can be up to there for 2 weeks, maximum 2 weeks. If you're at the 55 night temperature, do not water. Just leave it on the dry side. What happens is you keep the plant under stress. Okay. If you keep it too longer than 2 weeks, the plant might have what we call frost damage. It might not show on the leaf, but on the root. But that below 55, as long as it's a couple of days and you don't water them, okay, keep it on the dry side, they'll be okay. You'll be shocked them. You know, you're gonna get maybe 2 spikes, sometimes even 3 spikes on that. Okay. This is the different. We were doing some trial. This is the Merichrome. Okay, Roger, can I have this? We were doing some trial, so that look at the different in between. That one and the other one.
He just walked off the camera because there's no Brian. Brian's with the customer.
Okay. The difference is this one is just water alone. No Norman socket fertilizer, no make a dry. Okay, it's just plant. Okay, so this is what happened. People say, what happened if I forgot to water plant or if I feed the orchid? Well, you know. But the one on the left, this side here, is the one that got treated with standard feeding of Norman socket food and make a dry. So this is what is, because they all meristem, they all chrome. So you can see really, we do a lot of testing ourselves, and we all go in the same greenhouse. You see the difference? Voila. So, so in the standard Phalaenopsis type right now is a type that most of them are spiking right now. So you do not want to forget to do the feeding, okay? Especially, some of you, okay, this is my fertilizer. It's 2016-15. It does not have any urea in there. Okay, so and then it has 2 different forms of nitrogen, and 50% of them is actually good for winter time right now when it's shady and dark and cloudy, and also have the optimum potassium and phosphate. Okay, that's what give you this branching havoc and the strong stem. And look at how the leaf, okay, upright. Yeah. One thing, and also the root. Okay. See the root system. Okay. So this is, make sure you feed your orchid. Do not feed any of your orchid with high nitrogen right now. If you still have the old 30-10-10 and 6-30-30, the fertilizer for the 70, throw them out. Use it for your houseplant and 30-10-10 for vegetable. 30-10-10 is just too much in nitrogen. Too much nitrogen for the Phalaenopsis. They were designed and developed for Cymbidium in redwood bark. Okay, now nobody uses redwood bark anymore. We use all kind of mix. Okay, so 30-10-10 and 6-30-30, that is so outdated. Nothing wrong with it, but you're gonna be. That's why a lot of people have Phalaenopsis, beautiful leaf, but never flower. And the reason they still sell them at garden centers sometimes, because it's business. They can sell you 2 fertilizer instead of 1 combination. And in fact, if you know the math, this is only a teaspoon per gallon, versus some of the fertilizer might be big can, but it requires like 3 tablespoons. Okay, this is actually designed for the commercial grower like us, so easy for us to use. A can like this will last a long time. It's actually very good for roses, anything that flower, begonia, and when you use this on the other plant, it's almost like gourmet food for them. Okay?
We should figure out sometime how many gallons you can make from one of those.
Yes.
You can make a lot of gallons.
Yeah, and then some people
and it's not that expensive.
No,
so
if you
it's a very
calculate
cheap-
how many ounces how much dollar per ounce, it's actually very good, you know.
very economical.
And then this is the 3rd version now, and we actually even put vitamin B1 in there. So constantly they have keeping the fertilizer. So right now it's critical for all your spike, all your novelty Phalaenopsis. Okay. And also Curtis also look at this. Some plant genetically just robust. Okay, we just unfortunately the leaf is a bit big, but this is for some. Look at the stem. This is a pencil thick.
It's like 3/8 of an inch thick.
Yeah,
It's thicker than the bamboo.
Yes, when your orchid are well fed, okay, you don't even need to spike them, because sometimes at home, if you just for your hobby, don't worry about it, just don't spike. But we do have to, if you want to show your orchid, by next year, some of the orchid show might be open up. So this is the time to groom them, okay, and also as you spike the spike. It's up to you. If you have the time, sometimes we usually put this air root back into the moss pot, or if you in the bark, okay. And then I will trim up all the older root, and then just get close and personal with your orchid, and look at under the leaf. Make sure there's no mini bud, scale, mite, and voila, get ready and enjoy the flower. And also remember the 5 cent, okay? 5 cent as a preventative program. I always do a teaspoon per gallon of water. Okay, 1 teaspoon per gallon of water once a month. Okay, that for me, preventative is better than trying to treat something more stronger chemical later.
Sounds like we're about to get raided. Sounds like we're about to get raided.
The what?
All the police cars, all the sirens. It sounds like we're about to get raided.
Okay. And I'm going to use a couple of the plant from Curtis. And Curtis, you go mostly under light, right?
All under light.
All under light. Okay. So he brought this plant here. One of the plant that I think got crown rot.
Yep.
So he already put the cinnamon. Okay. And another trick you can also do is that I think I showed it on the previous.
I did a 5-10 on it, and I
Yeah.
also soaked the roots in
Right.
a bit of the 5-10.
Okay, and also cinnamon is organic, but not work as strong. So
Yeah.
another trick you can do is, remember, I put even with the crown rot, you can put some of the concentrated 5 cent, put it in a capsule here, and just dip it down here. But don't put it back in. You just make sure you just use it. Okay, the concentrated 5 cent will really eliminate also. Okay. Okay, especially on this because how many leaf was dropped?
4.
4 leaf, mature leaf was dropped. So this is going to be a lot of time the cinnamon pretty much just cover the wounded area. It's not strong, but my experience, this is why sometimes I have, there's 2 sizes. The smaller size, I have put on my push car. When I inspect the nursery, any problem, I just couple drop, put it there, because sometimes we do not have time. The next time we actually spray or Pfizer maybe the next week, there's a big production. So I use a concentrator and it work. It will not kill the plant. Even if you put in a crown, it still will not kill the apical meristem on the plant. And Curtis want me to bring this one here. And Curtis, did you repot this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do
So
that.
this is a perfect example of
Come on.
what size of this when you put it.
I don't remember what
Okay. Sometimes this is actually a little bit over potted. Okay. I know people like to be. I had customer before because they grow fern. You know how fast the Boston fern grow. Okay, so they will shift from 2-inch pot into a 6-inch pot like this. They thought, okay, I don't have to repot it. Wrong. Okay. And remember my theory, my philosophy in growing orchid. No matter what kind of orchid or what kind of mix, less is more. So this is what Curtis learned that. It's hard to dry out for him, so this what he has to do. Even it's the bark mix in a 4-inch pot, smaller. Otherwise, when he go under light, right, indoor, it's harder for him to dry out. Okay, and the physiology of the plant itself, especially in the bark, not necessarily in the moss. The physiology of the bark when they are new, you notice that whether it's Douglas fir bark or the New Zealand kiwi bark even harder to re-wet. They dry out. The new bark always so dry, right? And the physiology of the plant said, oh my God, it's dry. So the first thing they want to do is not to put up new leaf, is to put up a lot of root, versus the moss. You notice that the one orchid in the moss have actually had less because this is constant moist. So the physiology of the plant is, okay, I'm happy with the leaf, but I have enough. They concentrate more on the leaf. And in the wintertime, it's for the flower. Okay, so this is always the problem with, not problem, but the observation on the bark. So if you are doing the orchid bark, remember, a good quality bark, okay, it will always good for 2 years. So there's no use, there's not necessary to be bigger. Okay. In fact, by putting in bigger pot, it's not going to save you time from repotting. It's actually because you get bigger, you're actually going to keep the bark decompose more. And on the subject of the bark, and also sometimes people always say, oh, you can use kale, the fish, the seaweed. Okay. Try not to. Okay, if you can make it dry, it's consistent. Every batch is different. The kiwi is, because my background is in the basic research. You cannot do a paper say I use kiwi, because if you have to do a presentation, okay, and the professor down there is, which kiwi did you use? Is kiwi from Mexico Bay? Kiwi from the seaweed, yeah. Seaweed from, there's a difference between seaweed from, what species of seaweed, okay. Every batch of the seaweed will be inconsistent. So you cannot publish a papers that I use seaweed. Nobody can repeat, okay. So that's why my background is always, you got to able to do, for me anyway, I got to able to duplicate the result on every batch, year after year, because hey, I do this for a living. I cannot depend on, and I also can. First thing I use, how do they pasteurize the seaweed? Because if they use some kind of heat treatment to get rid of the smell, the color, they were gonna kill some of the natural hormone. And pretty much is the only hormone they have in the seaweed is cytokinins. But the mega dry we're not forcing them. We are applying the seaweed or the Saracana. We actually encourage the plant to produce their own. That's why you don't get that kind of mutations like some of the other super dry or something got flower mutation. So another thing about the organic, the seaweed or fish, whatever, is organic. Okay, they're going to decompose, and guess what? They're going to decompose your potting media even faster, and because they decompose organic material, they're going to invite even more pathogen like Pythian and Phytophthora. And Pythian and Phytophthora is nasty. They're those that will will cause the root rot. Okay, so I don't know why people. This is the 21st century now. Why do you want to? Because they really from another internet sensations. They say on the internet, they saw on YouTube. Guess what? Those are so 70. The people use it because they don't have other option to do it. And if you know what can the negative effect that will cause your bark to decompose more, you're going to invite more organisms that Pythian and Phytophthora who might cause you root rotting or possible the crown rot. The choice is there. Okay. So any more question? Because for those of you who are new member, I apply pesticide here. Okay, but I do not use any fungicide for the last 20 by now it's 20 years. Yeah, because nobody spray any fungicide in the wild. The plant itself have a lot of mechanism to defend the disease, Pythian and Phytophthora. So a lot of time, that's why I always very caution about when you use our water, because our water take out everything, even the good. There are some pathogen like fungi in the water are actually good pathogen that will suppress the bad one. So on the RO water, make sure you also want to dilute some with regular water. Otherwise, I think the worst bacterial infection is at one time, they're not in business anymore. They were one nursery in Camarillo. And I walk in there, I had never seen so much worse infection of bacteria because the water, they take out all the good and bad. Unfortunately, the bad one sometimes is there in the environment to suppress the bad one. So be careful. So we always want to do some research or post your question on our group here. This is a very nice family. But before you post question, or I would prefer you post a photograph and say something about how you grow your plant under light, outdoor, indoor. Okay, and sometimes maybe if you know the label, what hybrid, because sometimes the genetic background breeding for some of those Phalaenopsis carrier is different. Okay, so this is Curtis. Is want me to show this. This is the perfect example. It's over potted, and not only his next time at Curtis, I would recommend to use another mistake. He used a fine orchid bar. That's too wet. Fine orchid bar, that in our company we had two orchid bar mix, fine and medium. Okay, fine bar is for like cymbidium, or you go orchid outdoor. Okay, he go on the light, so he should have used the medium, big, more chunky, and then dry out faster. Okay. Okay, I think another example. Or by next spring, okay. This is perfect example. This is the main one is flowers finish, okay. And this is so nice. I don't see this is nice about make it dry. I don't even generally if you can break the spike and they will give you for the standard Phalaenopsis, they will give you the second spike. I call it a secondary spike. So once the secondary is finished, you cut it all the way down here. This one here is a perfect example. I should have cut the spike off. You know why? Okay. What happened with this one here is it was flower. This is a perfect example of flower too long, last too long. This one is too late now. it should have got cut off the spike because I only got 2 leaves. Okay, so what happened over the summer? Discuses, all the energy is going to the flower spike. Okay, so the whole summer it did not put out any new leaf. Okay, so this is the you as a owner, you have a choice. But in this case, right now, I would just leave it alone because it got second spike already. But this is a perfect example. Should have cut the spike off 4 months ago. And then all summer, I should have another spike for the vegetation. The more vegetation, you get more dormant flower bud at the bottom. But it is what it is. Okay. So we go over the youth analysis, and we can go to show and tell now. Okay, good. So, what number is this one? Do we have this one for show?
Yes.
Okay, give it to me. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Fragrant, why did you start growing orchids, and why do you love orchids so much?
I started growing orchid when I was still in Taiwan. I was 6 years old, and you're not even born there. I don't know where Jamie is.
Oh yeah, he's 7 years old.
6 years old. But
7.
I think my grandmother,
godfather.
my father's dad, she's a horticulturist, and my grandfather started a first print shop in Tainan after World War II, and so my grandmother, I guess when I was little, I was probably what we call it very active kid. Okay, now these days they put you on the what? On drugs. Yeah, I always very active. So my grandmother gave me an orchid. This is Cymbidium encephalia. She said, "Okay, you take care of this. You can do whatever you want." You know. So I have something I can focus on. So I started growing orchid, and I did not kill it. And so I saw, with even friends I'm growing. So when I was growing up in Taiwan, there was people, remember Chinese New Year, they give you red envelope, money. I never buy toy because I went to buy orchid, buy pushing the mom. I have a rooftop garden. My parents have a nice new house, and rooftop garden on the 4th floor is my playground. And I have they built a patio for me, a share house for me. So that was in those days in Taiwan is all you have. This is in the 60s, 70s, is the species on the wild. Okay, this is before the tissue culture or the artificial or aseptic culture media. So this all started. And when I come here, that never died with me. And then my first nursery, when our first house is actually Alhambra, and very close to a very famous American icon nursery called Stewart Orchid. Some of you might remember Stewart. And I'm there every weekend. Seriously, every weekend.
Yeah, free popcorn.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is my, and also very lucky to in the 1996, I took a group of judges and we took to Taiwan, and we first found this what we call the Harlequin. And this is my hybrid. This is my own creation. What I'm going to show you is this is why I said that right now is the best time for orchid grower. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, just another Phalaenopsis. I can get a Trader Joe." No, you're not going to get this at Trader Joe. You never, okay? Because this type of orchid, even the standard, it takes longer to produce. It's not something that they can push for the mass market. Okay, so. Look how pretty, beautiful leaf. The leaf's not too big, and big flower. And this one is MC808, and I registered the cross. It's called Fantastic Roasting Greensburg. Roasting Greensburg, first of all, I think she's one of my good customers in Connecticut, in East Coast. And I used to show in the Eastern Orchid Congress, and she will follow me. She will drive. To Massachusetts. If I'm there, she's right everywhere. So I named this after her. She like pink. I think this is the best brush Harlequin. You see how nice? Consistent, very consistent. And this is our tissue culture. So I'm gonna leave this one here, and I love this one. Just yes.
Norman, did you thank Jeff for lighting up your stage?
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, I have so much in my mind.
You didn't even know I could see now.
Yeah, I can see now. No, actually, the first time we used Jeff's light is last year when we had a Huntington show at the Huntington Botanic Garden, and Brandon have a beautiful big tent, but it's covered, so it's really dark in there. So I said, Jeff, let's try your light. So we light up the whole area, and it was pop, especially not just visually,
All the
but it's also very good for presentation. I never like those LED light, you know, when you turn it on, it becomes like red light district.
Oh, like
It's
somebody outside?
the people from outside, what's going on in there. Okay. Now, this is another one. I want to show you the one that I created, okay? This is City Girl. There are a few orchids that I always repeat. And this one is City Girl Madonna. We got a cheesy AOS.
Hey, I did that one. I crossed that one. Norman.
You did?
He's claiming my cross.
I cannot recall.
See? No, I did that one. I remember that. That's the only
Yeah,
one I ever
she did that when she was in high school, and she asked me what I was doing, just like Brian was doing that last night. And I said, oh no, Jamie, I'm doing toothpaste sex. She said, oh, I want to do it. So I said, okay, you can cross this one. So this is what happened that night when she was in high school. Anyway, but City Girl, this is the stage. You don't see semi-alba as often now. Semi-alba is one of my favorite. The breeding plant is actually from my good friend from Japan, because in Japan, white with red lip is like the flag of Japan. So we have this one 5 years ago. We sold out. Now this is a few plant will actually repeat itself. Look how nice plant here. So this is perfect if you don't have a semi-alba, not too tall. This is the stage. It's perfect to to ship right now. Okay, so it'll be this is the stage we will ship. I'll be in flower order from now, Christmas, or it'll be for open by Valentine's Day. Okay. Oh. Okay, got 2 mini cat. Okay, I think this is the yellow with splash cattleya, and this is the one I just posted on the website a couple of days ago. This one actually is one of the micro mini, and if you like micro mini, there's less than 450 plant. They're not going to be around for flowering because people can grab it out. This is one of the best Ladia Mannerite hybrid. Okay, this is it. They don't get any bigger. Okay, and 3 to 5 flowers, and bright orange red. Okay, this is micro mini, and another splash petal. I think was with red lip. Okay, perfect timing for the fall. Remember, I'm crazy. I always like the fragrance. Okay, this is the species. I think we showed this this past summer. Okay, this is a chrome, and look at the leaf. This is actually Aphrodite, a marvelous, but this is not from Philippines. This is actually from New Guinea, the island.
Can you turn the tag?
Around Java. It's from Java. Okay.
Can you show us the number on? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. This is the one. So it's that I think you have the two. Yeah. They have fragrance 24 hours. Most of the Phalaenopsis have fragrance only during the day, and but that's for novelty Bernina violacea. This is the only Amabilis or Aphrodite type have fragrance. Not only, and then we clone it. I froze thousands of them, and then this one has the best fragrance and it's for 24 hours. At night too. This is why sometimes people wonder what I'm doing in the greenhouse at night. Well, I'm sure I'm smelling flower. And I actually discovered another novelty Phalaenopsis that have fragrance at night also. But so this is what we do: cloning, the best tissue culture. Look how beautiful the leaf. it's kind of silver green. Okay, so there's two sizes. I think this is 48. This is the perfect size because the premium too tall. Because you probably helping FedEx to pay for shipping. This is the perfect stage. Get the $48. They are in spike to ship. Okay, you'll be an envy of your orchid friend next year. Okay, 24 and the smell adjustment. Right. Okay, and this is the one that we did it here. Pink with candy stripe, and also with a lip. Okay, this is California. The whole print is California make. Is with a background called hybrid called music, and music is the first candy stripe with red lip. What I like, so this one is called Judy Valentine. Okay, it's kind of named after my aunt. This is what really my hybrid, and what I like about this is the presentation of the foliage. Very good branching habit. Is here. Okay. All right. So if you don't have this color in your collection, and also very disease resistant, remember we don't spray fungicide here. Oh, and this is Brian Choice. This one just released on the website. Okay. There's less than 50, right, Brian? Yeah. This one. Less than 50, okay? Do not wait. Okay. NF2576. And it's my good friend Prince Orchid Yang hybrid. Amazing color. And remember, this is first bloom now. This is what we said improvement for novelty. Look at the stem.
Is it on the website?
Is it on the website?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not on the website. We will. Remember okay, we'll tell Brian to release it, okay?
No, it's 723. The one previous. 723 is not released yet.
Oh, this is released. Okay. Brian, release that one. Okay. Judy Valentine. Yeah. Okay. So this one is released. If you like this, okay, get it now because once they start open, Jamie, we're gonna start going through them for the jumper. Okay, this is the Tetrapolis. We have the C1 back in again. Okay, remember this is the fun. This is one of the fun one. This is Tetrapolis Christina C1, the very famous C1, and this is the few species that I keep repeating. Okay, the nice about C1 is you see every flower spike is the flowers spotting is by temperature, so you almost have the orchid have their own emotion. When it's hot, when the temperature is warmer, they're gonna have more white. When the temperature is cooler, more red. And the spotting of red is all different. You see here? It's really fun. And it's also because of the way the leaf grow, it's also very good for putting the hanging basket, or you can mount it. Okay. So if you don't have a good Tetrapolis, or I call it was a panda effect. All right, a very fun one. And we saw that 2-3 years ago. We bring it back again. All right. Okay, this is the. If you don't have this one, this is one of them. It not only we're gonna repeat again. This is the premium size, the 2 spike, and this is what I say. In the chroning, if you have the premium size, buy the premium size, because the premium size takes longer to grow. Okay, look at the premium size. This is amazing chrome. Okay, and it also have fragrance. So this is the new spike. This is from last year, and you get it flower again. Not only that, it's got the 3rd spike coming. So it's like energy bunny, just they get better with age, like people, right? Okay. All right. Another good Harlequin. Okay. This is not my hybrid, but it's one of my good friends. I love this one. this is actually the what we call a classic Harlequin, or some people call it Dalmatian spot, or some people call it koi fish spot. Okay, this particular one also had a wonderful foliage, strong root, and the spotting is by temperature also. The hotter you might see when they were hot, you get more white. As the weather get cooler, you get more red spot. So this is a wonderful. If you never have this is what we call the traditional, the first Harlequin breakthrough, and never been shown before. If you're interested in judging, this is what we call AM flower. Look at the shape. Okay, the AM shape, almost perfect kidney shape. This is why for this time you want to buy chrome, because they had a flower thousands of them, and I really cherry pick the best one for chrome. But for the traditional, the Harlequin, all right, what I call this, some people call it Dalmatian spot. This is the best one to have. Okay. Ooh. Okay, MC2393. Okay, this is the red one and fragrant. Chris is going to give you a recap for all the one we talk about today. And what I like about this one here is how miniature they're growing. Can you focus on this? The spiking? Okay, the plant don't get any bigger than this. All right, so if you're looking for a good small plant with spot, this is the one to have.
Can you show that one more time, because no one can see
Okay,
the number.
and then this is the.
Maybe there's not one out there. If we could show that, a lot of people are asking.
We've been doing a lot of this one here. 686 is probably my best one. Early, traditionally Phalaenopsis Shuriana are March bloomer, spring bloomer. But by typing breeding, I've been able to push earlier. So I finally this year this is first bloom. This is how bigger this plant is. So when they get older, they're going to be massive of color. This is first bloom, and it's only 24 months out of flask. This is how big it is. This is why I do what I do. I breed for people say, oh, it's just another Shuriana. Okay, no, Shuriana, is just like dog. The Bengal cat breeding. The breeder always breed for the best one, and it's just not another Shuriana. Proportional leaf. First bloom, amazing. So, and this will be flower. This is the stage we ship. Okay, with flower for massive full bloom by Thanksgiving. Yeah, Christmas. Okay, and it's so pretty under the foliage. This one again.
Yeah, some people didn't see them.
Okay, so some people did not see this number. So this is the number. Okay, we don't have a lot of this. Once we a lot of this, this will be gone. By Thanksgiving, Christmas, because we actually grow this just for the holiday. Okay, this is the best of the traditional koi fish spot, or what we call Dalmatian spot.
We did this one last week. I don't know.
Okay, no, skip it. And this is Brian's choice. He's showing you another. It's on the website. Another new hybrid from Prince Orchid, and it's one of those Harlequin, and we spot. So this is gonna be amazing, and this is why I show it to you here. If you like something unusual and different, okay, get it now, because once the flower start, people rag about the flower. Everybody posts how wonderful flower. A lot of time, if you put it in the wish list, it's gone. That means it's sold out. Okay, so this is another one that I think less. How many we have? 50.
Less than 50.
Okay, Brian said less. Brian been having inventory. Less than 50 seeding. Okay, so if you like the hybrid, this is a lot. I think could be a lot of winner here. And this is Batman return.
Yay, Batman!
Sunny. This is like Sunny has call it Batman is like frozen in time. The flower lasts like 5, 4, 6 months, and the best polaric.
Get it now, it'll probably last till summer.
Oh,
Seriously.
I don't even.
doesn't,
If you have this one here, do some testimony. But look how wonderful. Okay, but always get the premium side. This is I have a few of the premium side. Look at premium side coming up here.
Nice.
Nice. Okay. For the new member, this is what people started have a show and tell because they always want us to see what's good this week, and maybe sometime I tie up with a season, with a topic. Now, this is another one. Okay, we Harlequin, but it's really a velvet red. If the best velvet red, and also good for. Is the best one for Christmas and Valentine's Day. And look at how handsome the foliage. Okay, MC1931. Crystal, you got it? This is why you buy from Norman Zoga. Look at the root. And this is that result from the Mega Dry, right? I love this one here. It's very, very disciplined plant. Okay? And the leaf, the root is not going everywhere. The leaf, the root actually, for some reason, they love to stay inside the pot and the moss. Okay. And that white one? Yeah. That's a new one. Okay. Give me a number. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. What number is that? And this is I just found maybe about 25 of this. This is the one that is my first orchid in Taiwan. So this is the one I've been doing every 5 years. This is, and trying to retain the breed, the species. This is a genetic, natural, unimproved species from the wild. Okay, so it's not tetraploid. And nice about this is the Aphrodite from Aphrodite Formosana Dao, and this is the foundation for a lot of the miniature white. Okay, and this plant, where it come from, in the east side of the island, they have reported because the typhoon and hurricane always come from the east, so they're subject to a lot of the wind, and they've been reported can go all the way down to 50 degrees. Yeah, so they're not from Philippines, they're from Taiwan. Okay, so this is amazing. Can you give me a number on this one? Okay. And usually, because this is flower earlier, if the flower get in the summertime, in the wintertime, this is the first bloom, by the way, you will get more branching. Okay, this is why I have a picture before. The mother plant of this, I have a friend that from this plant that I get from is 50 years old, and he had over 1,000 prints on them. Okay, it's from. Okay. And another species that is responsible for a lot of your standard type, and this is quite unusual. This is a marble is from an island from Philippines called Saluyabaya. Okay, Saluyabaya Island. Okay, what I like about this species is not because the leaf is not too big, and this is actually I breed it. I like the way the yellow center and the kidney half kidney shape here. It's beautiful, very rare. So if you like something if you don't have this in your collection, it's marvelous. From Subayana Island of Philippines. Okay, it's NF2438. It's quite rare. I'm the first one that brought this strain into America. Okay, because there's thousands of islands in Philippines. Okay. Alrighty, so that's complete this now the standard type Phalaenopsis for the winter. I don't say winter fall anymore. It's winter now. But next week we're gonna go over the botanical orchid type. We talk about cenotes, some other area that not we've been covered. Then we will talk about some of the Paphipedia. So come back tomorrow, next week, for the botanical orchid. So with some other interesting stuff. All right, thank you. See you next week.